Welcome back, because this Washington quarter dollar looks like ordinary pocket change, but one tiny detail could turn it into a hidden treasure collectors have chased for years, with some rare examples selling for shocking amounts nobody expected from a simple quarter. First coin. The 1990 D Washington quarter dollar, a collectible American coin, entered circulation at a time when few people imagined modern pocket change could someday command serious collector attention. Yet decades later, this seemingly ordinary Denver Mint quarter has become the center of fascinating discoveries involving sharp strikes, mint anomalies, and rare high-grade survivors that continue fueling excitement across the numismatic world. Featuring the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle reverse, designed by John Flanagan, the coin was produced in massive numbers using a copper-nickel-clad composition, but hidden within those millions were pieces with unusual characteristics that separated them from common circulation finds. Some examples displayed subtle doubling in the lettering, slight die rotation, broad or uneven rims, or striking surfaces with remarkable luster that survived years of handling almost untouched. Because the Denver Mint operated under intense production speed during the late 20th century, even small mechanical shifts inside the presses could create dramatic differences that today are studied under magnification by collectors searching for overlooked rarities hiding inside everyday change jars and forgotten coin rolls. Interest surrounding the 1990 D quarter grew stronger when collectors began identifying examples with exceptional preservation and unusual visual traits that hinted at possible mint irregularities. Most quarters from this era suffered heavy wear through vending machines, cash registers, laundromats, and years of circulation, making sharply preserved examples surprisingly difficult to locate. A small number of coins surfaced with deeply impressed details, brilliant reflective surfaces, or faint but noticeable doubling around Liberty and In God We Trust, causing specialists to question whether certain dies produced more collectible variations than originally believed. There were also reports of quarters struck on improper planchets that appeared slightly different in weight or color, leading to intense professional examination, because authentic mint errors from modern U.S. coinage are extremely rare and highly desirable when certified. The suspense comes from the fact that these discoveries can emerge from completely ordinary places, turning a simple pocket coin into something collectors pursue with remarkable determination. As stories spread through auctions and collector circles, the value discussion surrounding certain 1990 D Washington quarters became increasingly dramatic, though always dependent on condition, rarity, authentication, and market demand. Illustrative market outcomes for minor but genuine variations have ranged from approximately $2,500 to $7,500, while more notable examples with stronger visual anomalies or exceptional eye appeal have inspired conversations around $9,000 or even $10,000 for elite high-grade coins. Rare collector pieces with unusual preservation, uncommon strike characteristics, or visually impressive errors have fueled discussions near $12,000 and $15,000, amounts that sound almost unbelievable for a modern quarter, but continue attracting attention because rarity can appear where nobody expects it. Some extraordinary mint anomalies with powerful collector demand have even been associated with illustrative figures around $25,000, and in exceptional cases involving unusual discoveries or historically important authenticated pieces, stories have circulated about values reaching $65,000 or potentially approaching $80,000. None of these amounts are guaranteed, but the possibility creates the same emotional rush as discovering a hidden fortune, a down payment on a home, or a once-in-a-lifetime financial surprise concealed in loose change. Anyone searching through 1990 D quarters should examine every detail carefully rather than focusing only on obvious damage or discoloration, because genuine collector value often comes from subtle characteristics invisible at first glance. Use a precise scale to check for unusual weight differences that could indicate an improper planchet, and study the coin's color under bright light, because certain metal variations or striking errors may alter the appearance in important ways. Observe the strike alignment closely by rotating the coin and comparing both sides, while also inspecting the rim for irregular thickness, flattening, or unusual spacing. Under magnification, pay special attention to the lettering and date for signs of true doubling, separation lines, or abnormal thickness that differs from normal wear. Professional authentication remains essential because post-mint damage can easily imitate valuable errors, and even experienced collectors rely on certified grading services before assigning major value estimates. The smallest confirmed detail can dramatically change how collectors view a coin, which is why patience and careful examination are critical. What continues to make the 1990D Washington Quarter so captivating is the unsettling idea that extraordinary discoveries can still exist in places people overlook every single day. Somewhere inside an old coffee tin, a forgotten dresser drawer, a gas station cash tray, or a dusty inherited coin collection, another remarkable quarter could still be waiting unnoticed, carrying characteristics that separate it from millions of ordinary examples. That mystery keeps collectors searching because every rare coin begins as something ignored by everyone else until one careful observer recognizes the difference. The next shocking discovery may already be circulating silently through everyday transactions, and the coin most people spend without hesitation today could become tomorrow's unforgettable headline in the world of hidden American treasures. Next coin. The 1967 Washington Quarter Dollar, a collectible American coin, moved quietly through one of the most chaotic periods in United States coin production. Yet beneath its familiar silver-colored surface lies a story that still fascinates collectors, because this coin was created during a national coin shortage that pushed the U.S. Mint into emergency-level production. In the mid-1960s, Americans were hoarding silver coins as precious metal prices climbed, forcing the government to remove silver from circulating quarters and replace it with the new copper-nickel-clad composition beginning in 1965. By 1967, mint facilities were under enormous pressure to produce billions of coins quickly enough to keep commerce moving, and in that frantic environment, quality control sometimes slipped in ways that produced fascinating varieties, unusual strikes, and rare mint anomalies. Unlike earlier Washington quarters carrying visible mint marks, 1967 coins were intentionally struck without them to discourage collectors from hoarding fresh releases, which only deepened the mystery later when unusual examples began surfacing with strange visual traits and unexpected characteristics. What appeared to be just another ordinary quarter from grocery store change slowly became a coin surrounded by whispers of hidden rarity, overlooked errors, and forgotten treasures hiding in plain sight. Collectors became increasingly intrigued by certain 1967 quarters because of their unusual appearance under magnification and the dramatic differences between ordinary circulation pieces and the rare survivors that escaped decades of wear. Many examples show weak strikes caused by exhausted dies working under relentless production schedules, but a small number emerged with razor-sharp detail, smooth glowing surfaces, and unusually strong design definition that immediately separated them from the majority. Some coins displayed expanded rims, off-center strikes, die cracks stretching through the design, or faint doubling around inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, creating the kind of subtle mystery that sends experienced collectors searching through old bank rolls for hours. Even more intriguing were reports of quarters struck on improper planchets or transitional metal stock, causing differences in weight and coloration that sparked debates across numismatic circles. Since the mint was operating under intense demand during this era, the possibility of rare production mistakes slipping into circulation became far more believable, and every newly discovered anomaly added another layer to the growing legend surrounding the 1967 Washington Quarter. As years passed, Stories emerged of collectors unknowingly spending valuable 1967 quarters long before understanding what they possessed, and those missed opportunities became part of the coin's emotional appeal. One quarter pulled from pocket change might turn out to be completely ordinary, while another with the right combination of strike quality, preservation, and mint irregularity could attract astonishing collector attention. Recorded auction discussions and private sale outcomes for notable examples have ranged from approximately $5,000 to $12,000 when coins displayed genuine doubling, exceptional surfaces, or scarce visual traits that specialists considered important. Higher-grade errors with dramatic off-center strikes, major die issues, or unusual planchet characteristics have fueled conversations near $20,000, while truly rare error examples with undeniable authenticity have crossed into the $35,000 range in certain collector markets. None of these outcomes are guaranteed because values change constantly depending on demand, certification, and timing. Yet the possibility alone transformed the 1967 quarter from forgotten pocket change into a coin capable of creating genuine suspense every time someone opens an old coin jar or inherited collection. The most dramatic attention, however, belongs to the elite category of 1967 Washington quarters that combine extraordinary preservation with major mint anomalies almost never seen together on modern circulating coins. Strong mint state examples with blazing luster, nearly flawless surfaces, and remarkable strike sharpness have inspired auction outcomes approaching $50,000 because surviving pristine examples from this heavily circulated era are astonishingly scarce. Unusual mistakes involving dramatic die shifts, broad strikes, or incorrect planchets have generated collector excitement around $75,000, especially when professionally authenticated and linked to verified mint production anomalies. Then come the legendary pieces, the coins that create headlines inside the numismatic world because they appear once in decades rather than once in years. Extreme errors with spectacular visual impact have reportedly crossed the $100,000 level in specialized markets, while extraordinary or nearly one-of-a-kind discoveries tied to unique minting circumstances have approached astonishing figures near $120,000 in private discussions and elite collector transactions. Those amounts are not promises, but they represent the emotional reality that one overlooked quarter could theoretically become a life-changing discovery capable of altering someone's financial future overnight. For anyone examining a 1967 Washington quarter today, careful observation matters far more than luck, because the smallest physical details often separate an ordinary coin from a highly collectible one. The first step is checking weight with a precise scale, since unusual planchets or metal composition errors can produce measurable differences from standard specifications. Next comes studying the color of the metal under proper lighting, because authentic anomalies may reveal strange tunning, copper exposure, or unexpected surface texture that differs from normal wear. Strike alignment should also be inspected carefully by rotating the coin and comparing the orientation of both sides, while the rim deserves close attention for expansion, flattening, or uneven thickness that could signal an unusual striking event inside the press. Under magnification, lettering and numbers should be examined for real doubling rather than machine damage, especially around the date and inscriptions where subtle separation lines may appear. Experienced collectors understand that excitement alone is never enough, which is why professional authentication and grading remain essential before attempting to sell, value, or publicly claim that a coin is rare. Next coin. The 1965 United States quarter dollar, which is a collectible American coin, entered circulation during one of the most dramatic transitions in American coinage history. Yet most people who handled it never realized they were touching the beginning of a completely new era. Before 1965, Washington quarters were struck with 90% silver, but rising bullion prices and nationwide hoarding pushed the United States Mint into a historic decision that permanently changed the composition of everyday money. The 1965 quarter became the first regular-issue Washington quarter produced with the new copper-nickel-clad structure layered over a pure copper core, giving the coin a different feel, sound, and edge appearance compared to its silver predecessors. Because the change happened so suddenly and under enormous public pressure to solve the national coin shortage, mint facilities were forced into non-stop production, creating an atmosphere where unusual striking conditions, die fatigue, and transitional mistakes could quietly slip into circulation. What looked like an ordinary quarter in a pocket or cash register slowly became one of the most closely inspected modern coins among collectors searching for hidden clues left behind during that chaotic production period. Unlike later quarters produced under calmer manufacturing conditions, many 1965 quarters reveal subtle signs of the mint's urgency if examined closely enough. Some pieces display unusually soft details in Washington's hair and the eagle feathers on the reverse, because dies were pushed far beyond their ideal lifespan, while others show oddly sharp strikes that stand out with almost proof-like brilliance despite being intended for circulation. Collectors became especially fascinated by coins with expanded rims, rotated dies, or faint doubling in inscriptions where the lettering appears slightly separated under magnification. The absence of mint marks during this era only deepened the mystery because the mint intentionally removed them from coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding, making it more difficult to trace production origins and easier for strange varieties to hide unnoticed. Stories also circulated about rare transitional errors involving silver planchets accidentally mixed into clad production, creating coins with unusual weight, brighter surfaces, and a distinctive metallic tone that immediately caught the attention of experienced numismatists. Those accidental survivors transformed the 1965 quarter into far more than a common circulation coin, especially when verified through professional authentication. As the years passed, collectors began discovering that some 1965 quarters carried remarkable value depending on condition, rarity, and minting anomalies, and the gap between ordinary examples and extraordinary ones became almost unbelievable. Smaller but legitimate error coins with visible doubling, die cracks, or subtle striking irregularities have been linked to documented auction and collector sale outcomes ranging from approximately $3,000 to $10,000 when preserved in appealing condition. Unusual finds involving abnormal planchets, dramatic strike weakness, or exceptional eye appeal have sparked discussions around $18,000 among serious buyers competing for scarce modern varieties. High-grade examples with almost flawless surfaces and blazing original luster have crossed into the $28,000 range because locating pristine survivors from this heavily circulated transitional year is extraordinarily difficult. None of these figures are guarantees, yet they reveal how rapidly collector demand can grow once a coin combines rarity, strong visual characteristics, and verified authenticity. For many people, realizing they once spent a potentially valuable quarter without noticing becomes part of the emotional pull behind searching through old change and forgotten family collections. The most intense excitement surrounding the 1965 quarter belongs to the rare error pieces that seem almost impossible considering the mint's strict standards, yet documented examples continue to appear and shock the collecting world. Strong error coins featuring major off-center strikes, broad strikes, or striking misalignments have been associated with collector sale figures around $45,000 when professionally certified and visually dramatic. Extreme mint state errors involving transitional metal compositions, severe die shifts, or exceptionally rare production anomalies have fueled reported outcomes near $65,000 because collectors understand how few such pieces could realistically exist. Then come the legendary misstrikes, coins with startling visual errors or historically important production mistakes that have reached approximately $95,000 in specialized sales, especially when accompanied by undeniable authentication records and elite preservation. A tiny number of exceptional or nearly unique 1965 quarters have reportedly approached astonishing levels, near $110,000 due to their rarity and historical importance within modern American coinage. Those numbers represent documented collector behavior rather than promises, but they also explain why people continue searching through coin rolls with the same excitement as treasure hunters hopping for a once-in-a-lifetime discovery hidden among ordinary change. Anyone examining a 1965 quarter today should approach the process carefully and methodically because genuine rarities are identified through detail, not guesswork or excitement alone. Weight should be checked with a precise digital scale to detect possible transitional metal errors or improper planchets, while the edge and overall metal appearance should be studied under strong lighting for unusual coloration or surface texture. Strike alignment is equally important because rotated dies or uneven strikes can significantly increase collector interest when confirmed authentic. The rim deserves close inspection for broadening, flattening, or unusual expansion caused during the striking process, and magnification should always be used to search for true letter doubling around the date and inscriptions rather than damage created after circulation. Professional grading and authentication remain critical because altered coins and post-mint damage can easily imitate valuable errors to inexperienced eyes. Somewhere in an old drawer, hidden coin jar, or inherited collection, another remarkable 1965 quarter may still be waiting unnoticed, carrying the exact combination of rarity and history that transforms a simple piece of pocket change into an unforgettable discovery.